Hey, Mystic Michaela, spiritual family. Welcome to Know Your Aura with Mystic Michaela, a very special Halloween edition. I can't even believe it, Scott. Where are we?
We are in Cassadaga, Florida. Mm-hmm. We are in the Ann Stevens house.
Yes.
And I have to tell you, now, if you guys remember last year, we went to the Riddle House in West Palm Beach.
The Riddle House, yes.
I am still traumatized from that.
Yeah. This has a different feel.
This has a different vibe.
Yes.
But right now, I'm going to tell you, I'm freaking out. We pulled up to the house.
It's amazing. It's beautiful. But it looks like we stepped back into time.
Yes. Like Mayberry.
Like the 1800s.
Like the 1800s,
yes.
Yeah. Well, the house was built in, I think, 1895.
Wow. Okay.
So.
And it looks like it.
Yeah. But when I first entered, I don't know about you. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're the psychic medium. I'm just, Scotty.
Right.
I got some really weird feelings.
Well, we are with Amanda and Leanna, which we'll introduce them in a minute. But we all are feeling something in here. But it's honestly the number one thing. I feel home. I feel like I'm at home.
You do?
Yeah, it feels very comfortable here. But I have been having, because I've known we were coming here, and I have been having reoccurring like astral travel dreams where I've been communicating with, I know it sounds nuts, but a woman, and I see her very clearly. And I'd love to see pictures of the people who lived here or whatever, because I could draw her. Like if I could draw, I could draw her.
Okay.
Like a very severe looking woman, but very much proud of where she lives and wants to be very formal and show us things and this and that. And I feel like this woman's attached to the house, and she's very interested in people who come here appreciating it.
Really? And she's been coming to you the last few days in dreams.
Yes, and I feel her. I feel a man, and I don't know who this is. I'm feeling a younger woman too, who feels attached to the man somehow, but she feels like she's younger, or like she was younger, or something like that. And I'm getting some sort of energy with her where there's a need for attention or more fun in life or something. But she's attached to this house too. I don't know who that is.
Well, we'll possibly find out. Maybe it's Ann Stevens, who is the original owner.
It feels like a separate entity, but maybe.
Separate entity.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you, my stomach's hurting, but I did have a lot of tacos on the way up.
Oh, sure.
And we had Dunkin' Donuts, and I had a lot of coffee. So that could be that, too. I'm not sure. We'll have to see.
Yeah, spirit or tacos.
We did bring Amanda, Purple Bomb Amanda.
Purple Bomb Amanda from episode 44.
Yes, and she's kind of like the sacrificial lamb for us.
Yes.
That's
if
why we brought
anything
her.
goes wrong, it's Amanda first.
Right.
Yes.
Well, that's why we brought her. She doesn't know this, but,
Yeah, Amanda's the one that, she walks out into the dark, and it's just like, oh.
Right. If we have to go upstairs and check out the rooms, she's going first.
Amanda goes first.
Yes,
Purple Bomb Amanda.
First.
Yeah.
Hopefully, she doesn't set off a purple bomb with the ghosts.
Oh. And we brought Leanna.
And we brought our assistant, Leanna.
Yes.
Do we know her role yet? Just to help?
Leanna's the one that survives.
She survives. Okay.
Survives.
All right. Well, let's introduce the owner of the house.
Yes.
All right. So the owner of the house is Emily, and she and her husband, Shane, actually were guests here at this place, the Ann Stevens house, in 2004. They probably loved it so much, I assume, because 7 years later, in 2011, they actually bought the property.
Wow.
So, I mean, probably...
That's just a connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Emily, I assume you're not a ghost. You're a real person.
Here we are with Emily.
And here she is. Okay, she's not a ghost. She's not a spirit. And here she is.
Thank you so much, Emily, for having us and for being on and to talk about your beautiful home.
You're very welcome.
So when was it built?
This house was built in 1895 by Ann Stevens.
Okay.
And in fact, you'll find when you're in Cassadaga, the main street is named Stevens Street. It's named for her.
Oh, my gosh. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey with purchasing the home? Like, what was it about it that made you fall in love?
Well, when we first visited here, we lived in Dallas, and we're in the IT industry, and we have very busy, lives.
Yes.
And we found that when we came here, it was like stepping back in time, like you mentioned, and time was not important. Looking at the watch and seeing what time it was and where do we have to be or what do we have to do, there was none of that. It just didn't matter. And we found that we were so relaxed and so refreshed at the end of our visit, we soon realized every time we had a getaway, we were coming back here. And became our most favorite place in the world to be. And like I said, my husband wound up proposing to me in the gazebo on his knee. A year later, we got married in the gazebo.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
And not knowing what was in store for us later, I told him, we recited our own vows, and I told him, standing in front of that gazebo with you, I am finally exactly where I want to be.
Oh my gosh, I got chills.
Not realizing that we would one day call this our home.
Oh my gosh.
Gosh.
And then
how often would you say you came in those?
3 to 4 times a year.
Amazing.
We loved it that much.
Wow.
For our
And
getaways.
where were you coming from?
Dallas.
So you would fly from Dallas
Yep.
to, I don't know, West Palm or whatever, and
To Orlando, and we
Orlando?
would come straight here. And
Wow.
we loved it so much. We didn't really go to visit the beaches or the springs or anything. There's a lot of stuff in the area.
Oh, yeah.
We were just content to come here.
Oh, that's so amazing.
now,
Yeah.
Mr. Michaela, could I ask you a question?
Yes.
What is, the audience probably wants to know, what is Emily's aura colors?
Oh, Emily. So I read, you live in a spiritualist community. So I see auras around people, which is, the energetic manifestations of, their soul and their selves and such like that. You're so purple with yellow. So like if I were to draw you, I would make like very, very deep purple with like yellow streaming through you. So like with you, I get obviously like an ability to, that's your purple, tap in to the other side, an ability to feel like your connection to this place, just get in that intuitive, energetic connection, but you're yellow too, which is doing things the right way. So I get with you, there is this need, this like intrinsic desire to do this house the right way. And I feel that you definitely have channeling abilities, and they came through a lot when you were going through this house and making it not just your own, because I feel like you respect that you share the energy of not just who had this place, but I feel like what it was intended for. Because that's what I get when I'm here. Like there's an intention to like, I get chills when I'm talking about it. Like almost like let people remember like what the purpose was and what it was for and how you can feel, and like, like you said, an escape or stepping back in time, and also educational. So anyways, I get you doing things the right way. That's like yellow, organized, and nope, it has to be this way, not this way. So that's what I get about you.
Oh, that sounds pretty accurate. Thank you.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Okay, so that's interesting. So you kept coming back, you said, 3-4 times a year. Did you ever have experience with spirits or ghosts or whatever you want to call them when you were here?
We did. And I want to say the most interesting thing that happened to us, we were in a room in the carriage house. And today it's called the Aunt Stevens room. But back then it had a different name before we purchased it. And I woke up one morning and the sheets were pulled, the sheets and the bedspread and everything was pulled up to my armpits and my husband's armpits. And it was folded over, just nicely folded over, maybe a 3-inch fold of all the sheets and whatever, the blankets. Like we had been tucked in.
Wow.
And so
while you were in the bed?
While we were sleeping.
Oh my
so
God.
I looked at my husband thinking, what were you doing?
Yeah, because it was so perfect.
Do this?
Yeah, like you were dolls
And
or something.
so when he woke up, he said, well, no, he had not done that. And so we mentioned something to one of the mediums in the camp, and they said, oh, yes, there's a lady in spirit who used to work at a hotel, which burnt down. It was Aunt Stevens' niece had a hotel right through the woods here back in the 1800s. And so she shows up, and occasionally she will do things
That's
like
amazing.
So that was
Wow.
pretty amazing.
How do you
experience.
feel when something like, do you get nervous? Do you get scared? Or are you just like,
We're delighted.
you love it. I love that.
Well, there's the purple.
Yeah. And it's friendly. Like, it's well-intentioned.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel safe and secure on every inch of this property. And we're on 2 acres.
Oh, wow.
I mean, no, it does feel very safe here.
Yeah.
Because when he was mentioning, we went to this other house last year and it did not feel good.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And this is totally, it just feels like home. Like it just feels very comfortable. But you probably get that a lot from your guests, right?
We have gotten that from quite a few guests, saying that when they pull into the parking lot, they feel a sense of peace or,
Yes.
just kind of relax, and
Wow.
yeah.
Oh, wow. Have your guests had experiences here and there?
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Lots of them.
Oh, my gosh.
And I want to say that everyone who is mediumistic or who's sensitive, who's stayed with us and have perceived spirit or perceived things, every one of them have just said, without me prompting them to say it, you know what? the energy here feels really good. You know, the person that I sense here in spirit, you know, is really nice. You know, so
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, you don't get any negative vibes here.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
But I do get like a very, I mean, it could be generational, but a strict kind of prim and proper vibration of a woman.
Yes.
Who's that?
That's Anne.
I feel, I'm getting chills as you say that. I feel her just like, maybe because the podcast is supposed to be educational, and I have a little co-host here who's more like, let's make fun, let's and I get kind of like, almost like this vibe.
Wait.
Like,
You're telling me Anne Stephen doesn't like me?
No, not like you. I feel like she just wants to correct you a little bit. Like, because we're supposed to have some history in here.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting.
Well,
like,
is she annoyed that I've been putting my elbows on the table?
Maybe.
Okay, because like that.
Well, you're more of like a clonker, so you have to be careful.
I'm the clonker.
Leanna just dropped her phone. No, you're more the clonker. Like when you walk around, you're kind of like, you know, all elbows. You know, we have to be careful here.
Okay. So, all right, I'll try to be a little more yellow. Is she? So Anne Stevens was a yellow. You're saying? I think she was. She sounds yellow.
Do you know about her?
I do. So, and in fact, we do have a portrait of her right here.
Oh, well.
Right on this wall.
Oh
there.
my gosh!
the other room.
Yeah, I have to go look. You talk while I look.
So one of our guests was a genealogist, and I had mentioned to her that I would love to know what Anne Stevens looks like, and she wound up tracking down a descendant of one of Anne's sisters, who sent us a photograph of Anne Stevens, and we had a portrait made of her that's now in the parlor.
I am freaking out because that's who I saw. With like that kind of a rectangle face. That's a mean way to say it. Just the way that her face is shaped is very yes. That's crazy.
Isn't that great?
I love her energy. I just feel like she's very present in the way that the house is conducted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, something that was very interesting is that I learned that before we purchased the property, that there was a medium who was going to give a little seminar, a little class, and it was going to be a series of classes here, and they went up to the attic to do their first class.
Oh.
And the medium said that Anne Stevens appeared and told her, that is not proper.
Oh, my God.
The proper place to hold these classes is in the parlor.
The parlor. Mm-hmm.
And so they moved the classes and held them in the parlor. And she said every time they had a class, she would see Anne Stevens standing on the stairway, looking down into the parlor, just making sure.
God, I'm so
I'm freaking out here.
But I love it. She reminds me of my grandma. So I'm I'm okay with that because like there's a right and wrong way to do things. And that's the kind of... Now, do you know other people that lived in this house? Because I'm getting like a younger energy woman who feels a little bit like in her life she was overshadowed by a man or something a little bit. I can't figure out if it was dad or husband.
Well, it was interesting that you mentioned that you sensed a male and then a younger female because there's a couple of other people besides Anne Stevens who show up here regularly when we do paranormal investigations or just show up to guests who are sensitive and can see them. One was Anne Stevens Gardner.
Oh my gosh.
And his name was Virgil. Oh. And he was he shows up wearing a Civil War uniform.
Oh my God.
So he was an African American man who had served in the Civil War. He carried some sorrow from what he experienced. But then, later, when Anne Stevens built this in 1895, he became her gardener, and he would come here during the season, prior to her arriving. He would get everything set up, and then he would stay here in the room here.
Oh, wow.
To the left here, there was a little space, an area for him. And but it turns out he was very good friends with Anne Stevens. Oh, okay. And so they would have these long conversations, or so I've been told.
Yeah.
And he shows up every single time.
Oh, that's
He's
so nice.
always the first to show up.
Oh.
And very sweet and funny. But then there's another person who also shows up with him, and that was the architect's daughter.
Oh, my God.
Her name was Marjorie.
Okay.
And Marjorie, so Anne Stevens, when she built this house, she was 70 years old, at a time when most ladies only lived to be in their 50s.
Wow.
She built this as her winter cottage, and she wintered here for 13 years before she passed away here.
Oh.
But
Right where you are, Scott.
Great.
Right where you're sitting.
You're making me feel better. We're sleeping here tonight.
the architect who designed the house had a little girl, and her name was Marjorie. She was about 5 years old when the house was built. She became friends with Anne and loved her so much she called Anne her Grammy. Aww. And she would come here, and she would actually... You're in the Lilacs and Lace room, one of you. That was her room.
Oh, wow.
When she would stay over.
Oh,
and
my gosh.
she also shows up. Marjorie lived to be into her 90s.
Oh, wow.
But when she shows up here, she shows up the age that she was when she would come and
That's
play
crazy,
here.
yeah.
And her doll is in the parlor.
That is so cool.
Was commissioned to look like her.
That's awesome. So that's Marjorie. Support Scott.
Now, is there any way before you? I don't know, Emily. Where do you stay, by the way, when you're not in this manor house?
Scott's like, can I come with you?
Wait, first of all, did we? Because we're here for the night. Did we kick you out? How does that work?
We have an innkeeper's quarters here on the property.
She's a personal resident.
Okay. Could you take that doll with you when you go?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
No, we like Marjorie's doll.
That's a freaky doll.
No, but she's very sweet, and typically they will show up together, Marjorie and Virgil.
Yeah, because I felt this younger energy that felt fun.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that would make sense. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Such joyful energy.
Yes.
Joyful and fun.
And
singing and whatnot.
Well, actually, even dancing, and I can show you a video we took at one of our investigations. You know the Connects box?
Yes.
Well, we used that, and I have a recording of Marjorie and Virgil showed up, and they started dancing at the top of the stairs.
Stop.
That doll?
No.
Scott.
I'm confused.
They're spirits.
Oh my god. Okay.
They show up like stick figures. They're two stick figures dancing.
I have to see that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But they show up together.
I just realized, we're spending the night
You're
here.
going to be sleeping in the car.
Is there a Hampton Inn anywhere near
By
here?
the way, that's not true. Because a house like this, I feel like you'll get the best sleep of your life. I really do.
Actually, I've had several guests say that.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like I don't know what it is. I'm very sensitive to electromagnetic things. I don't feel any of that in here. Not just because I'm sure you have Wi-Fi or things, but I just don't feel it or something. Yeah. So maybe that's something there's a block on the amount of new things we're allowed to have in here or whatever. And I feel
for the longest time we could not get Wi-Fi to work in the parlor.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't think it works in activity houses. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm freaking because you know what? She's definitely in the house. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we know she already doesn't like me. And
just supposed to correct you.
There's a few things I'm scared to do now. I'm scared to go to the bathroom.
Okay. I don't think Ann Stevens would ever.
Do you think she wouldn't go into the bathroom?
No, she's too proper.
But let's say I don't do something proper, because sometimes I miss the bowl.
Wash your hands. It's the quarantine.
Things like that.
She'd be on top of you for that.
Okay. I'm scared to take a shower. Can you take a shower in a house like this? Is that possible? Do
you have stuff with the water? That's my number one question whenever I come to houses that have activity. Do you ever have water issues?
No, I don't think that I have.
Oh, really? Okay. I've noticed this with houses that have activity and stuff like that. There's sometimes plumbing or water or just issues with weird things going on that make no sense.
Oh, okay. The only thing I can think of is we do have one something of a water closet here.
Okay.
That it's out of order and we haven't been able to get it
isn't
working
that funny?
the way.
And that would have been Virgil's, right?
That was in Virgil's area.
Right.
Actually, it's in our it's a washroom where we have our washer and drying equipment.
Okay.
And there's a toilet in there.
Okay.
But we had someone who lived here in the 60s who showed up and said, "Oh, the clawfoot bathtub that we now have upstairs in one of the guest rooms."
Okay.
She recognized that clawfoot, and she said when she was here and lived here in the 60s, it was actually down here.
Interesting.
So I'm assuming Ann Stevens, that was her bathtub.
Oh, amazing.
And may have had indoor plumbing.
Oh, wow.
At that time.
That's fascinating.
So, but...
Okay. All right.
We do have problems with that one room.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, I always find out, like, there's always, like, one thing. And
Well, I mean, I'm going to have to be, like, on my best behavior.
Yes.
For the night.
Yeah.
You know, so what basically we're going to do, we're going to spend the night here.
We're going to check out Cassadaga.
We're going to check out Cassadaga.
Yeah,
I think we're going to a cemetery, right?
Yes. How's that? Oh, no.
No.
Oh, Emily said
we're
no.
not doing the cemetery.
Now, Emily has looked scary the entire time. Now
Yeah.
Emily's, like, giving us the warning face, and she's yellow.
Yes.
Yellow people don't go crazy like that.
If you want to go to the cemetery,
Yes.
do it before dark.
Before dark. Okay. Writing that down. Before dark.
Because if you are caught by the Lake Helen Police Department,
okay.
afterwards you will
Okay.
get a ticket.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, so before
That's
dark.
way less scary.
I thought she meant, like, there's going to be some spirit that's going to come home with us.
No, that's if you have a purple bomb with you.
Right.
The police will bother
Right.
them.
Purple bomb. We do have a purple bomb. Oh, my God. And if we bring home like a kind of derelict spirit from the
Yes.
cemetery and bring it to Anne's house.
Oh, Anne kicked that out.
They're going to be a spirit fight here.
Spirit fight.
There's going to be a ghost fight. You know.
We did have a guest who went there during the daytime, and the following morning he told us about his experience. He felt a little silly about it. There's a fence around it with a gate to get in, and when he walked in, there were two big dogs that were barking and chasing after him. So he got into safety by getting to that cemetery and shutting the gate. When he was ready to leave, the dogs were there and they wouldn't go away and they were growling. He wound up having to call Lake Helen Police Department to tell them, I feel kind of silly, but I'm stuck in the graveyard.
That's crazy. That's like, did he feel like they were channeling something, or
they were just nasty dogs?
That is a little random.
Yeah, it was. But those dogs aren't around anymore. But the police had to come in and rescue him.
So funny. The job of a Lake Helen Spiritualist Community police officer must be quite interesting.
Definitely. Kind of like Hopper from Stranger Things.
Yeah, like Hopper. It's funny.
All right. So
okay,
before we start exploring Cassadaga and the house, let's hear from our first sponsor, Function of Beauty.
Okay. Hey guys, so, one size fits all never gives you the perfect fit. So why should you apply one size fits all to your beauty routine? You know those 2-in-1 shampoo and I hate those. I hate 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner.
Too.
You too, right, Scott?
Definitely.
You hate that. But it's because you don't treat your hair right, and with your length and how important texture is to you.
Very important. Right now, nothing's important to me
right
except
now you're
for
just scared of the
Stevens and Virgil.
So it's really hard to talk
doll.
about function of beauty, and that's what we're talking about right now. It makes personalized shampoos and conditioners that are formulated just for you, and now they have even more to treat your unique needs from hair to toe. Here's how it works. First, you take a quick but thorough quiz and tell them a little bit about your hair. Next, Function of Beauty's team determine the right blend of ingredients, then bottle your custom formula to order. Then they deliver your personalized formula right to your door in a cute customized bottle with your favorite color and fragrance. They even print your name on it. And now Function of Beauty offers customizable body wash and skin lotion tailored to your skin moisture level and other preferences. All of Function of Beauty's formulas always use clean ingredients, are cruelty-free, and every bottle is individually formatted and formulated to give you what you need to look and feel your best. I just did it for our 11-year-old Brianna.
Oh, she loves it.
Oh my God. Because you get to pick out the color and the fragrance and like your hair goals. You get to pick out your hair goals, which she felt really special.
I am glad I brought my bottle today because Ann Stevens seems like a little bit of a clean freak. And people know from the podcast, I don't always wash behind the ears so well. So this time I'm going to be really clean.
It's good. So what are you waiting for? Go to functionofbeauty.com/KYA to take your 4-part hair profile quiz and save 20% on your first order. Go to functionofbeauty.com/KYA for 20% off and let them know you heard about it from our show, please. That's functionofbeauty.com/KYA. So here's another one that we have going on today. This is we have a new sponsor, Modern Fertility. Scotty, you want more babies?
I don't. You put me on the spot there. I don't know the right answer to that.
I'm 39, so your answer is no.
Okay, no.
Okay, so
that's what I was going to go with. I just didn't know if this was something.
But I think 2020's been a little tricky the way it is already. We don't need any more surprises. You know what I mean? So as the year comes to a close, there's one important timeline. Modern fertility can help you better understand your reproductive one. I do a lot of readings, and a big question I get is, what's going on with my fertility? When am I going to have kids? This and that. This is why modern fertility was created, to answer those questions. It's the easy and very affordable. That's the big thing. It's affordable way to test your fertility hormones at home with a simple finger prick. Mail it in with a prepaid label, and you'll get your personalized results within 10 days. Traditional testing with your doctor can cost over $1,000, but modern fertility only costs, are you ready? $159, and you get the same information. And if you go to modernfertility.com/KYA, you can get $20 off your test. Also, if you have an HSA or FSA, you can use those dollars on Modern Fertility. You'll get insight into how many eggs you have, hormone levels, and other important fertility factors. The results go deep into what every hormone means, and you can also talk one-on-one with a fertility nurse, a real person, to review your results and options for next steps. If you want kids today, or maybe one day in the future, or maybe you're like me and you're like, we're good, but I need to know more about my body so that nothing crazy happens. You need information to make sure that the decision you make is best for you. So right now, Modern Fertility is offering our listeners $20 off the test when you go to modernfertility.com/KYA. That means your test will cost $139 instead of the hundreds or thousands it could cost at a doctor's office. Get $20 off your fertility test when you go to modernfertility.com/KYA, modernfertility.com/KYA. Hey guys, so we just got back from town, I guess. We're back in the Ann Stevens house. We were just hanging out in Cassadaga, which is a really crazy experience.
Yeah. So it's about 9 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. We're taping from the Ann Stevens bedroom.
Yes. We're staying in her bedroom.
Yes. I keep making jokes, and every time I make a joke...
You can't do that.
She gets a little annoyed at me, I think.
Well, I feel her... It was crazy because, like I said, I've been having dreams for 4 nights leading up to this where I was connecting with her.
Right.
And then I see her her picture, which Emily showed us, and it was exactly who I saw. And she's not a bad person. She's a lovely energy. It's just she's very strict.
Yes.
And by the rules and things like that.
Yeah. So
and you're not that way.
No, I'm not like that at all.
She needs to teach you things.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a red, blue, and she's a yellow, purple, we think.
Right.
All right. So we went to the Cassadaga Cemetery.
We did.
And that was a little spooky.
It was.
We sat in what they call the devil's chair.
So, yeah.
And if you sit in that, we didn't sit in at midnight because it's 9 o'clock now. But
right.
If you sit in at midnight, supposedly, the devil haunts you forever?
There is this chair. It's this famed chair in this graveyard. And it's a very crazy. I took a lot of pictures. I'll put them up on my Instagram and whatnot. But apparently they call it the devil's chair. And people come from far and wide to sit on it and see if the legends are true. And apparently if you sit on it at midnight, the devil follows you for the rest of your life, tormenting you. Okay. But another thing that a lot of people do that are in the photos is they leave unopened beverages, like sealed, unopened beverages on the chair.
Why?
And apparently, if you leave them there, in the morning, they're empty, yet the seal has not been broken.
That is
There
weird.
were beverages all over that chair, which I took a picture of.
Yeah.
Offerings and all sorts of things. So people believe this stuff.
Well, the only thing is, I didn't tell you this after you guys left. I was thirsty.
It's disgusting.
There was a Coke. It's half empty now, but I did put it back on. So if someone comes back that put the Coke on the devil's chair.
So it's you doing it.
It's me.
Whoa.
Yeah, a lot of these are me. Like sometimes, I've been
I wouldn't touch one thing on that thing.
No.
So good luck to you, my friend.
Oh my God. All right. Well, from there, we decided to go into town. It's a small town of Cassadaga.
Yeah,
and basically the hub of the town is focused on the hotel, the Cassadaga Hotel.
Yes.
So that was basically the only thing open when we got there.
That was the only thing.
Yeah, everything closes at like 5 o'clock. So we got into the hotel. And they have like readers. I think there was Reiki people. They have all these different services you can get. We ran into a group of witches.
Yes, there was a coven. Like literally.
A what?
A coven.
What's a coven?
a group of witches is called a coven. They were literally a coven of witches. We took pictures. Leanna took pictures with them. She befriended the coven of witches.
They did want us to join the coven.
She did. Yeah, they did.
I declined.
You were welcome. We were all welcome.
We were welcome. Yes, and it would have been me and the coven.
If it wasn't for COVID, I feel like you would have.
Yes, if it wasn't for the COVID, I would have joined the coven.
Like you would have joined like in 2 seconds if it wasn't for COVID.
Oh my God, yes.
They were lovely.
Yeah, but I would be like a warlock.
Mm-hmm. But you would still, I think, be allowed in their coven. They wanted us in. It's just we didn't want to,
Okay.
Get too cozy with people.
Okay. Leanna actually got a reading.
She did.
She got I think a palm reading. Mm-hmm. Just right on the spot.
Yes.
I did the reading. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. There was a reader there.
Yes.
I don't remember her name, but
Misty.
And for $20, she reads the palm. We'll have to find out if it went well.
Yeah, we'll ask her.
It was very. What, did you get any vibes from the place?
Well, it was interesting because in the cemetery there was a smell, and Leanna was freaking out about it. Which we'll talk about her later about this. She was freaking out, and when I looked it up just to find out where certain graves were and whatnot, apparently the smell is a thing. Like it's something that
throughout the whole town, or just the graveyard?
Cemetery.
Just the cemetery.
Yeah. And it's like comes from spirit, and people say it has to do with the energy there.
Okay.
And there was a lot of certain graves that were different, I want to say, had major influxes of energy. Just like where I felt off balance or off kilter. Also at this house, the Ann Stevens house, there is a vortex, which apparently is some sort of, I don't know, a place where the energy gets real thin or something. And
kind of like the upside down in Stranger Things.
Oh my God, in Stranger Things, like
the second reference today.
Yes, it's kind of like the upside down.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
But it was interesting because we all stood in it. I took a picture of it. We all stood in the vortex, and when I stood in it, it's honestly it felt like if somebody could step inside of crystal. That's what it felt like to me.
Weird.
Like it felt very like a lot of energy surrounding, and it was the veil felt very thin.
Okay.
And the whole town, like the veil feels thin. Like you could really encounter both worlds easier here than possibly other places.
Okay. So this kind of like for Umbrella Academy fans, this would be like when Klaus has the ability to like reach in with Ben. I don't know if anyone's seen the show.
Yes.
And they can kind of touch each other.
It's kind of like that.
That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, the veil feels thinner here than in other places. And the way I was feeling it was kind of off energy, like out of balance, kind of dizzy, and kind of emotional.
Yes. Now, who's that person sitting next to you in the bed?
That's Ann Stevens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just kidding.
I'm sleeping with Ann Stevens tonight.
You're sleeping with, okay.
Yeah.
Just checking. Well, all right.
You are the most scared person here. And we're about to have to spend the night here.
Yeah. So it's about 3 hours to midnight.
Yeah.
We are preparing to spend the night.
Yes, we have.
We're going to cut the mics in a little bit, and we're going to come back. Hopefully, we'll be alive and not into this vortex thingamajig.
Right.
And we're not in the upside down tomorrow. So hopefully, we make it. But do you think we're going to feel? I think we're going to. I think something. I'm a little nervous.
I'm excited for the night because I know that a lot of us are going to have some experiences here. This is a very nice energied house.
Okay.
Like actually, it's very. I feel like I'm going to sleep great. But I feel like there are experiences to come.
Okay.
With all of us.
All right, people. If we make it, the rest of this podcast will air. If we don't make it, then,
Any last words?
I'm the king of the world.
No, to people. That's your last words?
That's my mantra.
Okay.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We're back. We survived a night at the Ann Stevens house. It was a little dicey there for a while. I wasn't sure if we were going to make it.
It's totally fine.
We are missing Amanda. We still don't know where she is.
We lost Purple Bomb Amanda.
She did set off a purple bomb. She had a little bit too much wine. And we don't know where she is. I feel that Ann Stevens, or Mrs. Stevens, as I call her now.
You guys are real pals.
We're actually pals now.
You are.
Yeah, we started off rocky.
Yeah.
When I first entered the house yesterday.
Yeah.
I can feel it.
No, you're not, he's not even joking. It was like the one, and we all felt it was like the once over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then today, I feel like we're kind of on the same page with the house.
We're in the circle.
Right. So you might feel my energy being a little bit more serious today than I normally am.
You really are serious this morning.
Yes. The other thing is, if you do hear noise in the background, we are outside. We don't usually tape outside, so you might hear some birds.
It's a beautiful 2-acre property with just so much nature, and it feels so calm out here. We wanted to record.
Yes, but when you actually, and I got up first, and I went out onto the porch, and I was having my coffee, and then you came out, and you said you had some revelations.
I did.
So maybe, why don't you discuss that for us?
So I think a big question here has to do with why people stay, why spirits stay in a location, in a place, and they don't go to the beyond or whatever. And I feel like that has a lot to do with, and the question is kind of one I get a lot, like, am I going to stay stuck in a place when I die, or what is a ghost, or why don't they go into the beyond? And last night, a big, coming in, and it took me a minute to articulate it. And that's why it was so important for us to stay over here, because we really wanted to articulate what this is, what the draw is to this bed and breakfast, this home, and the history and whatnot. And last night, as I was just laying, and we stayed in Ann Stevens' bedroom, and I was just absorbing a lot of the history, and I was feeling a lot of channeled messages, and I was just getting a lot of information, and I was getting the whole general purpose. And it's interesting when Spirit gives me something that I don't quite understand myself, my human self. And a big thing that I got that I'm going to try to articulate is what this place is about. I feel like for Ann Stevens, this is about people having an opportunity to come and to reconnect with a different version of themselves, and to reconnect with a way of things being done which is sometimes lost. And that is a way where you pay attention to detail, or you find joy in the little things, or you reconnect to yourself via an everyday routine that's calming. And there's nothing grandiose about it. It's beautiful in the way, and the little ways that you do things here. You get up, you make your coffee, you pay attention to the gardens, you pay attention to how you eat, or where you put your forks, or little things like that. And I feel like these were really important to her, and they're really important to the people that she wanted to bring here, and also to the larger purpose of the spiritualist community too. And I was feeling that as well, because when you come to a place like Cassadaga, it's a spiritualist community. So there's a lot of acceptance for things in a way that you would never get anywhere else. And these are just regular people, and they're all like, well, obviously, there's a psychic realm. Obviously, the veil is thin. It's not cuckoo to them. It's obviously. And everybody from the people working to the people you meet who are working mediums or whatever. And I feel like she wanted that normalization combined with just daily life and how you live it. So it felt, this is kind of like very broad and whatnot, but I was getting a need to continue that tradition, which I feel like the spiritualist community was trying to do. Let's incorporate the paranormal. Let's into daily life, normal life, into civilized culture or whatever. At the time, I feel like that was their goal. And I get that. And Ann Stevens, it feels like a very forward-thinking woman. And that's what I was getting last night here.
For her time.
For her time. Absolutely. Also, there's an energy vortex here, which we took pictures of.
Yes.
Okay, so an energy vortex is a place where there's one in Sedona and like other places too around the world where the magnetic field is a little different. And there's one right where we're taping right now, like a few feet away.
That's scary.
Well, you stood in it yesterday.
I know. Am I going to go into another dimension?
And Emily showed us the energy vortex, and she said, people come from far and wide to experience. You can stand right in it, and we all stood in it. And did you feel anything?
I mean, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
The answer is no. But I mean, it seems like you're feeling something.
I felt it was kind of like if you could stand inside of a crystal, like if you stood in a crystal. That's what it felt like to me, and dizzy and kind of off balance, a little feeling.
Yeah.
But okay, the other thing, and I don't know if there's an actual name for it, but when I talk about the veil being thin and around this energy vortex and stuff like that, I've only experienced, this is the third time in my life I've experienced it, and I'm sure there's a name for it. I don't know what it is. I can only tell you how I've experienced it. It's kind of like a time parallel. So that's what I call it myself.
Where else did you experience this?
In Vermont.
Okay.
Remember when we stayed in that? We stayed in a chateau.
The ski lodge?
A ski lodge in Vermont, when Brianna was 2 or something.
Yes.
And I woke up in the middle of the night, like I did every 3 hours because she was a baby to feed her. And I went to bed in the chateau, and I woke up I was in the forest.
Okay.
I told you this at the time.
I remember.
And I was like, and Scott, I'm in the forest. I was in the forest, and I was looking around, and I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 seconds. I wasn't scared or anything. I was just like, oh my God. And I felt the weather, and I felt it being the same exact place before the chateau was there. That's what I feel like happened. And then it kind of slowly faded away back into, I saw the walls and the bed and everything else. And, the floor and everything instead of forest.
That's crazy. I just thought the room was a little creepy.
It was. Yeah. You saw something, too, in that room forever ago.
Yeah, I forgot. Like
something ran into the closet.
Yeah, shadows.
So anyway, so that was one time parallel.
Okay, what was the other time?
Another time is in Lilydale, New York. And this is the third time I felt it.
Okay.
And what that means to me is time, if there is such a thing as time travel or different dimensions of time, they brush up against each other here. And I feel that really strongly here. Like and yes, the place looks old and everything, but it feels also like the veil is very thin between dimensions of time. Doesn't that sound crazy?
I'm going to be honest.
Be honest with me.
A little bit.
That's how I
feel. I don't have as great of understanding of these things as you do. So for me, it's
I don't have a great understanding myself.
It's strange.
It's just that's what it feels like, and I don't know if there's a name for that.
I don't know. I mean, I really don't know.
I'd love to hear others' experiences if they've experienced that with like the time and the planes.
Yeah.
Planes of time shifting on them.
Well, do you think? Okay, so here was my question. They built Cassadaga here, and they got the name from New York, from Cassadaga, New York. But did they build it here? Like when they came searching, and I don't know if you know the answer to this. I might just be hypothetical, or when they came searching for a place to build the sister city to Lilydale.
Yes.
Do you think they chose this because of this vortex? Like, they didn't choose where we live in Boynton Beach.
Yeah.
They chose here.
Here, right.
Do you think that would be why? I mean, I don't know if you know the answer.
Well, I feel like, and Emily was telling us that George Colby, who's the founder of the Cassadaga Spiritualist Community, came from Lilydale, which is the first one. It's in New York. You can go visit it. We used to live right near there.
Right.
And then they came down here for the summer camp version of it.
Right.
And then that he purchased the land based on his spirit guide's recommendation, who was a Seneca Indian. This is what he said, or Seneca Native American. Sorry, I said Indian. And then in all the history, they say Indian because it's like not updated, but that it's Seneca Native American.
Right.
And that's why they named it Cassadaga, which is a Seneca word.
Right.
But yes, yeah.
So it must have been
I think it was on purpose. It was intentional.
Yeah. It wasn't like this was... this is the cheapest spot we could get.
I mean, your red aura might be like, and it was a good deal.
It's like Alaska, for the Russians, 3 cents an acre. We're taking this.
Well, I mean, apparently it was a divination. He had this feeling to come down here to this specific spot.
Okay. So that would make sense.
Yeah. And then I think also like it being such an intense purpose for this land, and what it is and what it's supposed to be. I think that can create certain things happening here that can't happen other places.
Okay.
Because like you feel it, like it's just a different acceptance. It's a different vibe here than even when you start driving outside the community, you're like, okay, it's very different now.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. What about the little girl? Did you pick up anything
So
from
last
the little girl?
night, I was talking to Amanda on the bed, and we were just talking about whatever. And I actually saw, I wish I got it on camera, but I was just talking and hanging out. I saw, it I don't know how to explain it, except it looks like if you took, those sparklers on 4th of July, and when you like swirl them around, it leaves a trail. I saw that. And it was like around the door. I saw that really strong. And I felt she had we had a very playful nature, Marjorie there. I mean, but everybody's so friendly, and I feel like they were just kind of hanging out with us, but they weren't trying to scare us or anything like that.
No, I didn't feel that at all.
There is one bedroom, and we didn't get this on the podcast, but when we were walking, when Emily was giving us a tour of the upstairs after our intro, there's 4 bedrooms upstairs. And the one bedroom, I said, I don't get the best feeling from this bedroom. Like, we were trying to pick out which one we were going to stay in. I'm like, I don't get the best feeling. And we have it on video because we taped it, so I'll put that up. But she said that other people have said the same thing. And I said there was like this male figure, and he felt kind of just angry at women or something. And she said other people have reported that type of vibe there because it was a boarding house for a while too.
Right.
So anyways, last night that room had a lot of activity.
Yeah, I did not want to sleep in that room.
Nobody wanted to sleep in that room.
No.
And it had activity, and at one point we saw the door move on its own, and there was a lot of activity just we were trying to take video of it and whatnot, and there were things like popping up and whatnot, but it just had more of a vibe, which was interesting.
You know what I'm really... And I'll get a little bit goofy again.
Okay.
Take a deep breath. You know what I'm happy about the Ann Stevens house? I did not sweat.
What do you mean?
We were in the Riddle house.
Yes.
I was dripping sweat.
That's right.
My stomach hurt. I felt like I was going to puke.
Yes.
And here, I've not felt that. I felt a little, nervous at first because, like we said, Mrs. Stevens was mad at me.
Yeah.
But I didn't sweat the whole time.
I feel like she was.
So I feel
she wanted to train you and discipline you.
And she did.
And I feel like she did.
And you know what? My red had to come out last night.
You put us all to bed.
Yeah. Amanda she had a few too many, let's say. So Red Scotty came out, and I had to put her to bed, had to tuck her in. Mrs. Stevens liked to tuck people, and we learned.
Yes.
And so I actually felt that I was taking on the role of Ann Stevens.
Yeah.
I think I had some inauthentic yellow last night going on. I got up this morning, which is really strange, and I started cleaning.
You did?
Yeah.
No, you did.
No, I did.
I know.
I don't clean.
Yes, actually, I was wondering, why did he clean up? Like, the dining room table looked amazing.
Everything was immaculate.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever seen me do that?
I'm like, did somebody come in and clean? Like,
no, it was me.
I know.
You thought it was a maid.
Yes,
no,
I did.
It was me.
But I'm like, I don't see a maid here.
I just cleaned up after you,
That's
Leanna, Amanda. When would I ever do that? So I think
yes,
Mrs. Stevens.
She had influence on you.
She influenced me. I don't think this is going to translate when we get back home. So I'm not going to be doing the dishes.
Too bad.
No, maybe I will. But it was a very interesting stay. I think the Halloween episode took a little turn.
It took a turn. We last year was very scary.
Yeah.
And this year, Ann Stevens is giving us a vibe.
Yeah.
And it's one about integrating your spirituality with your daily life. And I feel like that's the goal of this place.
Right.
And that's why people come back and visit this bed and breakfast.
Yeah. And we do, anyone in the Mystic Michaela spiritual family, anyone listening, if you want to stay here, you can.
Yes.
The Ann Stevens house. Emily is very friendly. I don't have the phone number offhand, but we
I'll
can
put
get
it
that
in the
for you.
show notes.
Put that in the show notes. You can rent out a room. You can rent out the whole house if you want. They have a secondary house, the carriage house.
The carriage house.
So I definitely, if any of you dare to, no, I'm just
kidding.
Actually, it's actually
honestly,
pretty nice.
I want to come back and experience it again. There's no televisions. It's there is Wi-Fi, but it's very just calm.
Yeah.
And it feels very serene. So Emily and her husband Shane are doing an amazing job. I feel like just keeping Ann Stevens' intention for this property alive.
They definitely are. So definitely, if you live in the area, or if you want to travel, come stay here. All right, I don't think we have the podcast ghost. I think do you think this will change that for us?
Ann Stevens stays here.
Ann Stevens
she doesn't like to bother anybody at all.
Do you think she'll stay on here? She's not going to be trying to get space with Joseph, our podcast ghost.
This place has a different vibe. It feels more like, because growing up in a haunted house, more cozy.
Yeah.
It's like good spirits that just want to make you feel welcome. Whereas in the Riddle house, it was different. It was like, this is mine and I need you to know that I'm angry and these bad things happen to me. And her voice is more about, like I said, the intention of the property.
All right.
Great.
Okay, so, we just wanted to kind of check in and see if what you were feeling yesterday had validity. Mm-hmm. So we found Emily. She was just working outside on the property, and we figured we'd kind of just bring her back to finish up the interview. Mm-hmm. So take it away.
So I was last night. sometimes I get things and it's more of like a feeling, and it takes me a while to articulate it. But because sometimes things are bigger than us. And I feel like that's with Ann Stevens. There's something bigger than us going on. And I feel like there's a message here, and I was getting you and your husband as part of it, because I was getting this feeling with the property like she has direction for it moving forward. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting chills, because I also get her, like I said yesterday, she has a bit of a marketing mind. So I get her wanting to make sure that this place stays successful and stays like it is, it has been, and I can also understand like you going through this pandemic and what, it's a bed and breakfast, but I get her really rallying around you guys. And I get the intention of the property is to bring this spiritualist living in daily life. There's no separation between, like I said, it felt more like civilized culture and spirituality. But I was getting something around this property that has to do with you and your husband and moving forward and what's next, what's next. And I get that you two are always open to a challenge, and I get her just getting right in on that. So I was getting such intense feelings about how more people have to know about this place, and how there has to be more attention brought to it, and how there has to be more attention brought to the intention of what it started at and how you're evolving it. So that's what I'm getting.
Right. Now, when we purchased the property, and we looked at reopening it as a bed and breakfast, one of the things that we envisioned is that this could serve as a place for people who had an interest in exploring their spirituality. Wow. That this could be a retreat, a place of retreat, a place of learning and expansion and growth for those who were focused on spirituality. I love it. The property has a great feel for it. The energy Absolutely. Here is definitely conducive for it. And we just wanted to be able to share that, because it did help us to expand and grow in that area. Mm-hmm. And we just felt that this could be an oasis for that type of environment to offer to others. So we've been thinking about how we can bring in various groups for people to give seminars and teaching, and have even bring in Native Americans for drum circles, or just a wide variety. But the common link is it promotes a more spiritual side and growth
oh my God,
in that
I have
area.
Chills.
Yeah,
I have chills. I feel like she's behind you 100%, and even though she's passed on, she's very present in the intention of this place.
Yeah, because
I don't know, I forget if we went over this, but I feel like when you purchased this property, it was definitely not in the shape it is now.
No.
Yeah, and so this has been a road.
Oh yeah.
But I get our little podcast is here, but I get like big old media attention, and I feel like she loved that.
Yeah.
And she's very up on what that could look like moving forward. And while keeping the integrity, which you would always do. Because I even got this message from her just now. She said, it's in the little things. And it makes me want to cry. She's like, it's in the little things. And you are well aware of that.
Yeah.
So I'm getting kind of like the integrity of the place will always be preserved, even when it gets bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like that's definitely something to keep looking into, and maybe you just needed that little keep going, your idea is a good idea.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that with me. She did bring. She's brought somebody else here last year, and I don't know if you've heard of the Arthur Findlay College in England.
No. Now I want to Google it.
Google it.
Yes.
This is in England. It's a large school where they teach mediumship development and healing.
That's amazing.
And there was an instructor from there who found themselves here. They felt drawn here.
Wow.
And they expressed an interest in being able to come here and teach and offer courses. So
it's like it's already they're trying to find you. They're trying to. I love how that works with spirit. Like they're like, here, well, you're not. We'll just do it for you. Thank you so much, Emily. Thank you for having us here. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm going to be putting. How do they book? How does one book a room with you?
AnnStevensHouse.com.
Wonderful. And I will put all that in the show notes. Thank you so much for having us in your home.
You're very welcome.
You take care, guys. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our Mystic Michaela Spiritual Family Halloween special at the Ann Stevens house. We are going to put up tons of extra content on IGTV, including lots of little stories from what happened while we were here. So tune into that and take care, guys. Thanks so much.
If you want to be the most interesting person at the cocktail party, well, hop on over and listen to the Brain Candy podcast.
Our award-winning content will have you laughing whilst you're learning.
We read all the best articles, books, and studies and keep up with new TV shows, documentaries, and pop culture. Then cram it all into 2 shows a week.
Conspiracy theories, cannibal rabbits, unsolved mysteries, the history of the Walkman. There's something for everyone.
The Brain Candy podcast. Find our link in the show notes.
Or simply search for the Brain Candy Podcast on your podcast app.